Or
Time travel. I always say time travel.
You know what? That's probably what they're going to end up doing.
Hello, Facebook Live.
Hello!
Welcome to another behind-the-scenes recording of our show. Today is the 4th of December. I'm here with our very own Pronto Comics, Dominic Definition Man Sprano.
Word up, dog.
We have Zambo the Engineer.
Hello.
And Charlie, his... crap. Hold on.
His phone ain't working? Maybe, possibly, maybe.
Wait a minute. I gotta...
You gonna try it one more time?
No, because he gets mad when I say why... If I don't say why he's not here.
He's on double secret probation.
His uncle has been in the hospital all week, so that's why he is not.
He's out on
here.
assignment. Got it. Out on assignment.
So yeah, that's why he's not here.
Well, okay. Warm wishes to the uncle. Hope he recovers well.
So this week's show is going to be a little different because I had a whole plan structured about everybody being here. And
when is the show ever not different?
Well, when we hit that groove, when we do a movie review show. By the way, we have to watch the Star Wars. Is the one movie before the end of the year we're gonna do.
Fair enough.
There is that.
Whatever happened to us having to watch Terminator? Which did that come out?
The new one?
Yeah.
It came and went.
It came and went.
It came and went.
That's how good that must have been.
It went yo. And
a lot of people though that know Terminator and like that really like it were like, no, it was like Terminator 2.5. It's what we wanted.
Okay.
So that's what a lot
it just
of
didn't seem
people told
to
me.
do anything.
It was
it's the campaign that they did. You know, the advertising
or lack thereof.
I'm just gonna say this.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Because you told me, like, oh, we're going to do it, but then you never told me.
Was that?
You was like, oh, the next one we're going to review is Terminator. I'm like, okay.
So
but then you never told me, like, all right, you got to go see Terminator because we're going to review it.
So what probably happened was there was a lot of time-sensitive things. So we had guests and stuff pop in. And
time travel.
It just hit us.
Time travel happened.
Time travel.
Because David Donovan and John Riley were supposed to have 2 different episodes, but it just kind of all got smushed together because we were running out of time for a lot of stuff. But just to keep it spoiler-free, I'm sure you know a couple things about the movie.
Robots from the future.
But I will just say, I will go to the second Prometheus movie.
I'm going to say this. Butterfingers do not pair well with cheddar onion potato chips. This is not a good flavor combination
I've learned that before, so I understand.
You should have warned me, sir.
So, if you remember in Prometheus, did you see Prometheus?
No.
In Prometheus, it was all about this one.
Did you watch The Irishman?
No, I'm not watching that.
So there you go.
In Prometheus,
it's a buffenobla to you.
I know Ray Romano's in it. The whole
that is true.
And the comic book store is almost in it. Did you see the comic book store? Did you see it?
You see? Do you know where where Grasshoppers is though?
Yeah.
So at the end of the block, you have Hildebrands.
Right.
That is right there.
Ah, okay.
Like there's no like, oh, this is something. No, it's Hildebrand. They didn't do it like another sign. Boom. And then my lady turns to me and she goes like, "We gotta go there. I want ice cream from there." I'm like, "All right, no problem." I'll tell you this. Everyone knows I love my lady.
Yes.
We're watching The Irishman, and all she keeps doing is turning to me like, "I love this movie. I love this movie." And my love for her just deepened more. Because I'm like, awesome, she likes Scorsese.
It's like, God, I love you.
I know. So let's make a baby now.
Let's watch Departed next.
Well, I think the next thing we'll have to watch is Goodfellas.
All right,
good choice.
So to make this brief, in
why even try?
In any movie where one movie is all about trying to save that one person, and then they make a sequel, and that issue is no longer relevant because they get rid of said person that they spent the whole movie trying to save in the first movie.
You mean John Connor?
It kind of makes the whole first movie crap.
Kind of moot.
And it ruins the feel of the 2 movies. That's where I'll go with Dark Fate.
So that was a problem with that movie.
That was one of the problems with that movie.
Okay.
I could see that.
It was. I thought it was entertaining.
Oh, well, that's a big
I
thing
haven't
for you.
seen it. So
was it a good movie? That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, but your idea of a good movie and my idea of a good movie are 2 completely different things.
Correct. But
I
our
walked out of
opinion of a
watching
bad movie, pretty good because Power Rangers pretty darn bad movie. We both agreed on that.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, but it's like
it was fun, but it wasn't.
That's like agreeing that Hitler was a bad guy. It's like, yeah, he was bad. You know?
Well,
yeah.
Wow.
It's not exactly a.
Wow, we're bringing Power Rangers compared to Hitler.
No, we're the major motion picture Power Rangers compared to Hitler.
The major motion picture Saban's Power Rangers compared to Hitler.
Right.
There we go. Not the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie from the 90s, which was fantastic, and debate me.
It's more phenomenal.
I doubt. I dare.
Well,
you.
Stephen
So
Crowder.
Wait a minute.
So
change my mind. I'm on this college campus.
So
next thing you're gonna go to college campus and be like, "There's no such thing as white privilege." Boom.
Me too.
Oof.
Which there isn't, but that's beside the point.
Do the house cleaning. We gotta do the house cleaning before we start our show. Man,
Let's finally have that conversation we've always wanted to happen.
11th of December, which is next week Wednesday, we have our live show in front of a studio audience at the Samania Mall, which is the Source Mall, right next to the
Samania. That's what it is.
Fortunoff and Dave & Buster's and the PF.
I think I've said this right, but it sounds like the Somalia
You have
Mall.
to. You have to go enter through the
That is the
parking
same
lot.
level of economy.
Second floor, there'll be a sign that says East Middle Hill Library. You can go through that door, and that's where you'll find us.
Nice.
We're going to have Eddie Alveria. I know I'm pronouncing his name wrong because I don't have it in front of me. From Day One Comic. He's going to be giving away a Spawn print. And we're also going to give, because it's Star Wars time, we're going to give away a Star Wars print.
It's Star Wars season, everybody.
Yeah.
Never mind Christmas.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars season.
We're going to give away a print for that.
Most
And
wonderful time
we're
of
also going to
year
give
it
away
is.
2 free tickets to the Big Apple Con, which is going to be on December 14th. So if you want any of that free stuff, come on down and you can win. Free raffle.
Have a holly jolly Star Wars season.
Also, we still have the other contest going on for our 11:20 live show.
Right.
Behind the scenes Facebook Live. So if you
Exactly.
comment on that on the YouTube page for the 11:20 show, comment and you'll be entered randomly. You'll enter to win 2 free tickets to the Big Apple Con.
I don't remember what this was.
Well,
how much longer
and I
for
know
that
it was my idea.
that was when not that one. That was when Mike said, "Oh, we'll give away free tickets." So we get away 2 sets of.
If they
tickets.
commented on the best
Comment
comment
on-
wins,
right.
right? Okay.
Well, it's just
Thank you for
your name will be
Thank
randomly
you.
entered. So if you put your name in there, and it gets a little drawing. We'll figure out who wins and all the.
Yeah.
Is that how we
places.
do drawings? We just
Yeah, we do that. We do that. That's how.
Put it on a
that's
deck
how
of
we do
52
that.
cards, spread it across the table, and go, that one.
So like I said, you can check it.
Basically.
You can
Yeah.
comment on the YouTube page, or you can comment on the Facebook page. Make sure it's the 11:20 show. The winner will be announced on next week's live behind the scenes show.
wow.
So we have
I
that.
am excited.
Down to
Um,
the wire.
Let's see. I believe that's. I have 5 face cleaning.
Face
House
cleaning?
cleaning.
Your
What
face
do
is pretty clean.
What do you have? house
The
cleaning.
next available slot for Moonlight Pottery at Island Pottery is December 20th. So if you've always wanted to try this, convince someone to buy it for you as a early holiday present. The next time there will be a carve and paint pottery, it's going to have to be in the new year in January. And the simple reason is there's just too many things going on Wednesdays
Is it
in
gonna
the month
be-
of December.
Is
so.
there going to be a Pronto Comics Christmas party?
There will be a Pronto Comics Christmas party December 21st at Jack Doyle's. I have to call and make the reservation, but I don't foresee a problem.
Why does that sound like something's going on the 21st?
Well,
I think
the whole,
something's happening on the 21st.
I don't know. Something's always happening somewhere. It's December's the busiest month of nothing happening.
Yeah.
Like, you get nothing done, you're running around. But I am hoping that it'll be the 21st. And if I can't reserve anything, let's just show up anyway at 8 o'clock at Jack Doyle's on 35th Street in Manhattan. And the reason is why it's so late. We stop saying the 21st over and over again, whispering it. It's creepy. The reason is I'm trying to avoid SantaCon, which is usually the second Saturday of December. And since we're not recording this yet, right?
Well,
No.
we're on Facebook Live.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's enough.
But FCC doesn't.
No.
Yeah,
So
fine.
it's a shit show.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. Whenever there's SantaCon, it's a goddamn shit show.
Yeah.
So we try and avoid the shit show to have a better time. So look for that.
I did-
Everyone in the comic book industry is welcome to come. Everyone at Grindhouse Radio is welcome to come.
Woo.
I doubt anyone's going to come from Grindhouse Radio.
Never
'cause
know.
It's a
We're
trek,
always-
but you
Sorry.
guys are always welcome.
Thank you.
December 21st, 8 p.m., Jack Doyle's.
I'll put the message out a few times just to make sure, and you
Thank
never
you.
know. It could actually end up happening, and I don't want to make any promises, but hey, it would be nice.
And I also forgot. I have the Queen's Gazette in my hand. This is last week's edition. I got an article printed in there. So not only did I get an article about me, I got an article written by me in a newspaper. So if you guys want to check that out, you can go online to Queen's Q Gazette. I think it's QGazette.com. You can look up on the online edition. You can actually see it
Quickly,
there.
can you give me a 6-word synopsis on what the article is about?
The WinterCon and my events actions I did there, which we're going to be talking about
That's
on the,
more than 6
on the
words.
show. Yes, it is.
How dare you, sir?
WinterCon and my findings.
So that's it for the house cleaning. So we're going to
Our house is
start,
cleaner than my
and you're
actual
going-
house.
And you're going to see the magic of how this show
In the
works.
middle of the street.
When we had a plan and the plan goes off the rails
That's right.
just before we start.
Yeah.
Isn't that every show?
No, this is more often. This particular case is more off the plan than anything else.
Okay.
So here we go.
Fair enough. Let's go.
The following is brought to you in part by MFC Studios. The views of the show's host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management, owners, or staff of this radio station. And now,
Here, you can give it to her.
it came from the radio.
I have plenty.
Thank you.
Ooh. Yapatoy, I should say Yoninama.
Oh, you
and
came up with a
welcome.
new word?
Well, that's the Happy New Year, because by the time this airs, it'll probably be next year.
So you, in your made-up language of 3 words, have come up with a new way of saying Happy New Year.
Yes, why not?
Can you repeat it again for the folks at home?
Yoninama.
Yoninama. Now, what is the philological basis of Yoninama?
It's a Happy New Year. Welcome to the New Year, my
But
friends.
how did you come up with the syntax and grammar and syllabus and you know?
It sounded really good.
Good God, man. Somewhere J.R.R. Tolkien, who's a philologist who studied languages, is just cursing you from beyond the grave.
If it helps, it's actually also a Japanese surname.
Oh,
Huh.
there we
Mr.
go.
Yoninama.
Yoniyama.
See, it's a
Is
Chai
it
Korean
Yoninama?
Yoninama.
Nama.
Yoninama.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back then. I want to find out.
So yeah, this is
Domo arigato,
this
Mr.
is-
Roboto.
this is your host
Mr.
Mark Torres
Yoniyama.
speaking. I am here in the GHR studio with our very own Pronto Comics Dominic Definition Man Sperano,
I'm sorry, I had to finish my lunch because
We
I had a
have-
rush here.
the engineer Zambo with
Hello.
us this week.
A healthy lunch of
On
potato chips and chocolate.
on this week's show, we
don't know.
We had planned to do the whole show because there was so many events that happened 2 weeks ago, which was the Sopranos pre-party. The actual
No, that happened
Sopranos-
way ahead of.
The pre-party, the actual con itself.
Oh, the second pre-party.
the second
They
pre-party.
had 2 pre-parties.
was-
Yes, this
Oh, that's
it-
so
Yeah.
funny.
the first one was the official pre-party of the New York Comic Con. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
this
right.
one was the
The New York Comic Con didn't know about.
This one was the official pre-party to the Sopranos Con, which we sent our senior correspondent Charlie Saladino, who's not here with us today, but he's still alive.
Well, that's always good.
So he was supposed to talk about that. We were supposed to spend like 10 minutes on that because he had a great time. We had pictures on the Instagram. We did some Instagramming. Wow. And
I saw.
yeah, and there was like
He
interviews
took
and
like
stuff,
100
and,
pictures of food.
and there was stuff going
That's
on
how
over there.
Instagram is.
Yep.
Then we were going to talk about the, where is it? I have it written down. The WinterCon, which I went to, which we will be talking about today. Then we'll also be talking about the Hurricane, which I also went to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk about the actual Sopranos Con, which you went to.
Right.
And then we were supposed to talk about the Li Who Con, which Charlie went
Right.
to, which he's
not
here. So that's going to be some problems because someone thought not to do news because we had so much other stuff to talk about.
We
So-
can do news.
So,
I could find some news. What
We
kind
can
of news?
find. We can do news.
What news do you want?
so
What kind of news do you want to talk about?
Who died?
we'll
Who,
just
who died recently?
we'll just get to we'll just carry on with that.
Grumpy Cat.
Yeah.
Well, we know about
So,
that.
but
Grumpy Cat
first-
just
Rip
passed
Torn,
away.
we knew about.
little
Torn.
Bub, the other little internet
So-
famous cat, passed away as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So first, so before we do
Let's do
talking
some
about
news.
that, well, yeah, before we talk about it, we have to take it away.
Here's
with
some
the,
news.
with the
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
with the non-news. It's not working.
Not even working.
Oh no!
Let me tell you, like I'm watching the news today.
Overview.
Overview.
And then the one to the right there, and then now tap it again. Hey! Oh no!
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Ah.
There we
so
go.
glad
The
I got that
non-news is
drop.
brought to you in part by the fine folks of the. Oh, I forgot that too. Let me grab that from over here. Brought to you in part by the fine folks of the Big Apple
Do
Con.
we just want to start the whole show over again?
Nah.
Which we are the official radio show of, celebrating over 23 years of hop cultureness and comic book stuff. For more information, go to www.bigapplecc.com. The next convention, which is the Big Apple Christmas Con, which will probably have passed by the time you guys listen to this, unless you're on our Facebook Live, which you guys are missing out if you're not.
It's the best show you're not watching, like Scrubs.
On December 14th. And the headliner has already been.
Are we even sure about this at this point?
We are 100% sure that Sam J. Jones, none other than the original Flash Gordon, is going to be there, along with Peter Scolari, legendary artist Jim Steranko, and they just announced Joseph Michael Linzer from Cry for Dylan.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?
And of course, friend of the show, friend of mine, Russ Braun, who is the artist on the Boys comic, will be there as well.
Oh, nice.
Have you read that comic yet?
I have not read that comic. And I have not seen the show, but I've talked to Russ, so that kind of cuts out the middleman.
They have retired Wonder Woman on here.
Yep. Why?
All
She
right.
was seen as on America's Got Talent.
Oh.
I also like
Look
Barbie
at that.
Chula.
Oh,
That
yes,
just
Barbie
sounds
Chula.
wrong.
She's the cosplayer.
Okay.
Oh my
But-
God, it's Bobby Chula.
Wow. All right, so that's who has already been at the convention, unless you're listening to us on Facebook Live, which you should. And also they announced the next convention, which will be on April 4th and 5th of 2020, which will be none other than Jason David Frank, will be the original Green Power Ranger, will be there.
Is he your favorite Power Ranger?
He is not my favorite Power Ranger.
Who is your favorite Power Ranger?
Johnny on Bosch, who is him. That's him. That's Adam right there.
Very.
This guy.
So
That guy.
Yes, that guy.
He's not the one that was running around with the sword and got.
No.
Right? Okay.
That would be Ricardo Medina. He's the one that
Got
stabbed
He's a
that stabbed
red
the guy.
Power Ranger running around with a sword, gets arrested.
Well, no.
How hilarious was that?
The guy was trying to break into his place and he stabbed him with the sword. So that was. It was
That's
his
like-
roommate, but it was it's a long story. You
He
can
probably
go listen
watched
to the
Sebastian
archives.
Maniscalco's routine one time. Get the sword! Get the sword!
You can listen
Get
to
the
the
sword!
old
Oh, I'm gonna get you once I
the
get my
old
sword.
shows
Yeah.
where we talked about that. And also we're gonna do the shout-outs for the Patreons,
Right.
of which there are.
Wait, are we done with the not news?
No, we do the announcements. The news is brought to you in part by the Big Apple Con,
Oh.
the Patrons, and then we get to the non.
I wasn't here last week. I forgot the rhythm.
See,
It's okay.
Slow.
I was here in spirit and in recording.
Yes, you were. Oh, by
Yeah.
the way,
Yes.
thanks for throwing it back to the studio at the end of the interview.
You know what's funny?
You
were right
trailed
next
off.
to me. You were right next to me, and you could have just looked at me like, "Hey, by the way, just do a quick recording." But you
know,
didn't.
I think it was, and I forgot he cursed. I forgot about that, but
Again, I don't really take any blame because you were literally to my left,
well,
right there.
to my own defense, I was actually listening to what he was saying, and I was like, "Wow,
Then you should have remembered he
there's
cursed.
some really good, inspiring
yeah.
things he
It
had
was
to say."
awesome.
So I was like, "Ooh," taken aback by how
was
good the experience was, and I wasn't listening to you. I was listening to
Oh,
him.
thanks.
He wasn't listening.
So-
he was listening, but he wasn't hearing. That's what it was. Some
So
people
when-
listen, some people hear.
So when you didn't throw it back, I did not hear you say that. But then when we were playing it last week, or how many weeks this is between when this airs to when the other one airs,
Oh, Lord only knows, my friend.
I was like, "Oh, it's over." He didn't throw it back to the studio.
Oof.
So we
You'll
got
be
that-
happy to know that
we
all
got that
the
moment of
Sopranos
dead
Con,
air.
all the Sopranos Cons
You did-
interviews,
you did throw
I
it
threw it
back.
back.
All right.
I did. I think I threw it all back.
All right. Very, very good. You know, we have a file I have specifically set aside for you saying, "And now back to the studio," just in case I ever need it.
Good. You should.
That's
So,
always good.
I send it to you like weeks in advance. You don't listen to them?
I don't. I do it as we go on. As we.
Oh my
if
God.
you do the show, I do it. So yeah.
Why do I bother with you?
So we're gonna get the shout outs for our Patreons, of which
Hey.
there are
Oh,
Danny Grillo, award-winning director Jared Burrell, Two Sentence Horror, Kyle Horn, Millie Portes, Newsday famous Dresden Media, Unjikun, and Shadow Rabbit Art, who was sitting in as a co-guest host last week.
I saw that. How'd he do?
He did quite well,
All right.
and he never submits a question. He can submit a question, but he doesn't because he went to the higher tiers on the show.
Mm.
So yeah, so now let's go for the non-news. We can just we'll just start with what we got and see how it goes.
Here's some non-news.
All right.
So I'm watching News 12 this morning, and they announced that there are 6 or 7 more victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
Okay.
And they're and then the guy Doug Geed goes like, if you remember, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself by hanging in his cell. And I just went, no,
he didn't.
no, he didn't.
Don't
Stop lying. So that's
Don't
my
lie.
non-news today.
There you go. That works.
Jeffrey Epstein once again did not kill himself. This is
Oh.
way too
Allegedly.
coincidental.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, I'll go with allegedly, but we know he didn't.
What you
Exactly.
just described in my mind translates, not being political, but there was an episode of Gummy Bears, the Disney show.
Gummy bears. We're talking about a pedophile hanging himself, and you bring up gummy bears.
There's a connection to everything.
There is. Well, I mean, kids watch that show.
There was
you go.
I believe a
That's the
harp
degree.
that could tell if you were lying.
Right, okay.
So anytime someone lied, he goes, "You were lying, you were fibbing." So whenever
Yep.
you said that,
Yeah.
in my mind, all I hear is, "You were lying, you were fibbing." That's what comes out
In my head,
in translation.
I know you never saw this, but in my head, and we mentioned The Departed before we went on air, there's a scene like, Mrs. Kenneficks, don't you want to get the guy who killed your son, forced him to do a robbery? And then she goes, allegedly.
Allegedly.
And in my head, you go Doug, if you remember, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I'm like, allegedly.
Yes.
No, he didn't.
Just
No.
pops up in there.
I want to get one of those ornaments hung like Epstein.
That would be fantastic. I'd put it right next
this
to the
ornament
Die
didn't
Hard.
hang itself.
I'll put it right next to the custom Die Hard one that I just made.
There you go.
It'll be perfect. Keep them right next to each other.
Yeah. Actually, I also want to get one of the T-shirts that Joe Rogan wears, hung like Epstein. I got this thing. Yeah.
So since Charlie's not
I want a
here
lot of things for Christmas
to
this
talk
year.
about
Me
the
too.
pre-party, but I can definitely say that
I saw
shout
the
out
photos.
shout out to Leslie Fry, because she was the one that actually did the Instagram
Yeah.
photos for us. Charlie took photos, so there's Instagram photos, his photos, 2 different things you can actually check
Right.
out. I heard that there was tons of food and tons of celebrities.
Yes.
Once again, Bernadette
She
was
came through.
was
She was amazing. She was amazing.
And I want to give her a proper shout out, because she also invited us to the next convention that they're doing.
Which is?
It's in Atlantic City. It is the Mob and Movie Award convention that they're
Ooh.
going to have in Atlantic City. So we're going to start talking about
My
that
prediction is that
as
the
we
Irishman wins everything.
as we get closer. So she did a grand up job, so I just want to say good job of that. As it was explained to me, we had covered a film festival, the Macabre Fair Film Festival, run by Elsie Ginsberg a couple of years back. And what she does is she has a film festival, and then she has her own little award show. But the award show, she goes all out. There's
Really?
There's physical awards to be there, and then it's a dinner. So there's food, a buffet, it was everything that was great for an independent film show.
Hopefully, they'll have that cheese you like.
So so according to Charlie, he says that it was like that. So there was a dinner at the pre-party, VIP
Yes.
dinner that was going on, and there was food, and it was a great time had by all.
There was
according
levels,
to him.
man. Because I looked it up before I went
Right.
on Friday, and there was the breakfast before the con,
Mm-hmm.
there was a party after party after con, there was an after party, and then it ended with an after party at Scores.
So
And I'm like, wow, this is
Yeah.
a thing.
So then
They went all out.
They redid the Bada Bing in this place,
That's great.
minus the strippers,
Of course, but they made it look good.
but they made it look good. It looked like the Bada Bing, not within a convention center.
Yeah.
But they even had a couple of Bada Bing. They had one Bada Bing girl and they had a Bada Bing bartender.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So how does that work? When you go, was it just like a regular convention?
Well,
that
she
was,
gets in a pole and you throw money at her.
No, I was like, so when you go to the convention about the
Right.
Sopranos Con,
Yeah.
is it just like a regular convention with Soprano stuff in it, or did they actually
Yeah.
transform it into?
Yes, both. So what they did,
So this was in the Meadowlands.
it was on the Meadowlands, and think of it's obviously it's a smaller con. It's if you're gonna try and compare this to New York Comic Con,
Well,
that's
let's
not happening.
All right, was it your standard convention hall, like a giant big square rectangle, and
More or
everything
less.
was stuffed in there?
Yes.
Celebrities on the wall or something like that.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
So they only had one massive space, so they
Right.
divided the space up into different sections.
Okay.
So when you first walked in, actually the first thing that you see is like a makeshift food court.
All right.
Okay.
So you
That's what I'm
walk
talking
in,
about.
Yeah, and you have they got the pizza joint that Christopher went to. They got Satriali's. They got like 2 different places you can get cannolis. They got a couple of bakeries, all of which are actual Jersey establishments that you can buy. So like when I was leaving, I got like 2 different cannolis, Zeppelis. I did very well. It was like the San Gennaro Festival inside.
So it wasn't just for display. It was like real food.
No, you get real food.
All right.
So see, I knew he'd like this. So he had that. And then if you go to the right, you had like a bunch of different vendors, but there's really not a lot of vendors vending anything per se.
Yeah.
You're not going there to buy swag and stuff like you would at like a Comic-Con.
No, yeah.
You're going, the vending wasn't very impressive. They had a couple of tattoo guys, which was interesting. People
That's
getting
kinda cool.
tattoos. It was really a whole giant love letter to The Sopranos. They had a cigar shop there selling it from Newark, which was really nice guys, and I got an interview with them. And then it was really just a lot of if you were in The Sopranos for 5 minutes, you were invited to be there.
That's cool.
Like they got everybody. So I got the guy who played the FBI agent. I got another one who played the female FBI agent who takes down Andrea Matteo. I got a couple of interviews. They had the horse that played Pyomai.
Like a real horse?
It was a real horse. The horse got more breaks than the actual humans.
That's really funny.
Like I wanted to go take a picture with the horse, like interviewing the horse.
Oh,
So, like
sorry.
the horse is on break right now. Meanwhile, all the poor celebrities are just like getting yelled at that if they walk away to pee. They couldn't get anything.
Well, nobody has the humane.
Exactly. No one
for
cares about the
people.
humans.
The humanity
Horses have
humane
better rights
society.
than humans.
Yeah.
They had an amazingly great several pictures of James Gandolfini done as mosaics of other pictures of him. They had another thing of like just a quote board of all the great quotes from the show. They did a recreation of the Bada Bing with one of the girls who was signing there. They had a second section of more celebrities of like guys from like the Tony Soprano's crew to some degree. And then they also sectioned off a whole like sort of theater area that you had the panels going on. They had a VIP section next to that.
Wow.
They had like an Everglades or I forgot what it was. But they had they had a recreation of the therapist's office, Lorraine Bracco's office.
Really?
I'm not kidding. They had a recreation of a gambling hall behind the Bada Bing, which was very dead. No one seemed to be playing, which was interesting.
I would have went there too.
I know.
Food
I don't
and
know.
Gambling.
Food and gambling. It's your love of life. They had like a maze that you could go in, like because you're gonna go stash a body or something like that.
That's funny.
They had a couple of cars
Two
from the
people
show.
enter, one people leave.
So yeah, basically. So it was really very, as a first con went, and having been to other people's first cons, very impressed.
Would you say?
And
it
you know
was,
what the great part was? No kids, because you're not bringing little Johnny to
see a Soprano con.
to see a Sopranos con. It was like an adults convention, and I'm like, oh, this is great.
Would
That's
you
awesome.
say it was an immersive experience?
Not 100%, but it could be. So like the Bada Bing, and it like big wraparound bar, 2 poles. No one's dancing on the poles, but you could go and get drinks.
Yeah.
So like they tried to do their absolute best. I mean, yeah, right. They tried to do their absolute best to make you feel like you were stopping at these places in the show. You know, obviously you're not because it's all set up, but you could meet almost anyone that was in the show with the exception of like the family per se. Like Jamie Lynn Sigler wasn't there. Lorraine Bracco wasn't there. Edie Falco wasn't there. By the time I got there, Michael Imperioli, Drea Matteo, and I forgot who plays Paulie Walnuts, they had left.
Yeah.
I got there at 3, but those 3 were gone. But almost everyone else was hanging out and there and signing. Dominic Chinis and Federico Castelluccio had lines that were like 50 people deep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know.
Wow, that must have been a really good day for them.
Yeah.
That's great.
So how was the flow? Was it like a good flow? Was it just crowded? Was it like could you move around?
No, you could move around. You can move around. It wasn't crazy crowded. It was well attended. A lot of people were coming and going from the panels that I saw. But you could move around. The only time it became hard to move around is when you wanted to go into the other back section where there were more actors, or to the Bada Bing, because the lines for these guys
We're
like
starting to
overflowed. So you're trying to cut, but everyone was nice. So I'm
Really?
like, excuse me, I'm just
And
trying
the Sopranos gone,
and the
everyone
Sopranos
was
gone. You know, I'm like, excuse me, I'm just trying to get through. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead, no problem.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, no one was like, hey, don't cut my line. No one was like that.
Not New York Comic Con.
Not in New York Comic
People
Con.
get it. Because people
People
get
get
it. To a
people
point.
get it,
Yeah.
and it's a different kind of a fan, right?
Yeah.
People enjoyed the show, but they know it's a show, and I don't think they were really as like in the fantasy land like they are in Comic Con.
Yeah. And
There was
not like I paid
the also
$200.
hilarious thing. There's cosplay going on, but you would never know it because
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm in
They're
Jersey.
like-
Like
they're
I don't
like
know
in-
if you actually dress like this every day anyway.
Or that's a cosplay.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
I saw more leopard print and like blown out hair,
Oh, jeez.
like you would never believe. Guys are walking
I
around
absolutely
and they're
believe
all like, "Hey, yo, hey, yo,"
So-
and girls are walking around like, "How you doing?" And it's like, "Oh my god,
So no Spider-Man.
God.
no Spider-Man, no one's like." It's not like going to the Ren Fair and someone's cosplaying a Spock like that. No, everyone. It's hard to tell if you were cosplaying or not. I'm like, I don't know. Do you normally dress like this or not?
If I feel like it. It's like, all right, good for you.
Do you wear leopard print leggings every day, or is it just for special occasions?
You're funny.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Basically pulling Fran Drescher's.
Yeah, a lot of Fran Dreschers.
Yeah,
I mean, the pants couldn't get any tighter at this event.
Gotcha.
And the push-up bras were on high display.
Woof.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're a fan of a particular look, then it was a great day to be a guy at this thing, too.
Gotcha.
So, because in my
I took
mind,
my lady, too. She didn't have a problem.
in my mind, I'm picturing it like a Star Wars type thing where they have a lot of stuff, well, like an amusement park where you go in and
A
you
little.
get to do all this stuff and everybody's in, but it has celebrities involved.
Yeah. That's fair, but considering that you've never actually seen The Sopranos,
Right, so that's what I'm trying to envision what
it's not as fantastic as that because,
course
like,
not.
you know, right? So it's very easy to pull off, or easier to pull off these immersive experiences because
for this time,
because
right.
it's really like you don't have to try and recreate the Millennium Falcon. You have to try and recreate a bar. It's
Right.
a strip club. It's not really that hard to recreate.
Yeah.
Get a bar, build it, boom, there you go.
Dim lighting.
Dim
couple
light,
drinks on
yeah.
on a glass.
The lighting was
shelf.
not dim in any way, but yeah. You're like, we have to recreate a casino. Let's get a bunch of casino tables. Boom, it's done.
Right.
It's not that difficult.
But it was
Get a piece of paper that says
well
casino.
done. It wasn't done on the cheap.
No, it was well run, especially for a first convention. I think it was done on a budget, and I'm not saying that like it was done cheaply. I'm just saying obviously there was a budget. I think they probably blew their budget, maybe went over a little bit. I would love to see it be successful and see what they can do with it next year if they do it again.
That'd be nice.
And then because they could probably make it even more inclusive and
So
immersive.
There
That's
you
the
go.
word. Yeah.
So were you grading it on a curve because it was a first time convention?
I always grade every convention on a curve when it's a first convention. But one, I'm just happy it was at an actual expo convention area as opposed to like in the lobby of a hotel,
right.
which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And it was a good size. You could walk around because and I didn't go to Long Island Who this year. I know Charlie went and was
Charlie
supposed to be
said-
here to talk about it.
He said it was sold out. By the
I'm
way,
sure it was, but having been to that hotel for other conventions, I won't say the convention itself is rinky dink, but it's like I'm in a hotel lobby. It's hard to get.
Location.
Yeah, it's like I'm at a convention, but this is obviously not that amazing of a convention in a hotel lobby kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
Where this is like, no, I'm at a convention center in a convention.
Yeah. They probably tried their best to capture the feeling of no, you're in a convention, you're not in a hotel type.
Yeah, there's no way that you were going to get confused by it. And when you walk in through the door, like boom, massive thing saying Sopranos Con. So
Just-
you can
just
take a
in
picture.
case.
Yeah, just in case you weren't sure
you
where
weren't
you were.
Sure, you just showed
didn't
it by
know.
accident.
Yeah,
Where's
and then
the
you walked in
con?
and boom,
Oh.
you're in the con. It's like, you're walking in a con.
Oh, all right.
I'm trying to think of something that is comparable to that. It's kind of like if you've been to Eternal Con at the
Cradle of Aviation.
no at
Nassau Coliseum?
Nassau Coliseum, kind of similar, slightly smaller in terms of space,
Right.
but that feel like I'm at a convention. I'm not in a hotel lobby. I'm not in a gymnasium. I'm at a convention in a convention space.
Not at somebody's back door outside.
Right. I'm not,
Bob's Con.
Right. I'm not in a church basement. Like, it was a convention meant to feel like a convention with the idea of it being a convention.
Gotcha.
Not like, let's throw this thing together and we found a space we can afford. However these guys put this together, they gave it their best shot.
All right.
Good.
That's what I'll say.
And that's what matters too.
Yeah,
So-
no, they tried hard, and they did a good
Put a
job.
couple tables up and just call it a day. Like they actually went that extra mile. Which
The
is good.
sheer fact they got almost every single person that spent 5 minutes on the set or more was very impressive.
Oh yeah.
And as when you eventually hear the
Interviews.
and I wish I could remember the name of the gentleman.
Vito?
And yeah, right.
Vinny?
Sal.
There was not one single person that didn't have a vowel at the end of their name at this thing.
Yeah.
He said, like, this is the biggest collection of people from The Sopranos since Jimmy Gandolfini's funeral.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Like, this is like he was
deal.
very excited, and he's been on a bunch of things. He was also in Brotherhood. He plays the governor on Billions. Mark, I can't remember his last name, but he was saying, like, I love these guys. We don't get to see each other often. This is amazing. And Federico Castelluccio, when I interviewed him, was saying the same thing. And it was the biggest reunion of all these cast members
since Gandolfini.
Oh, easily,
Wow.
in his funeral. Wow. So it was very impressive. I mean, to get all these people involved is really good. These guys did not start low and work their way up. They went swinging, and they hit a home run, in my opinion.
It shows the love of the show.
Yeah, and they were smart. They did it in Jersey.
Yeah.
And they did it in a good spot, kind of a good spot in Jersey, in the Meadowlands.
The views of the show's host. Is there a good spot?
I say a good
Jersey?
spot in that it was easy to get to because from Manhattan, from North Jersey, from all the areas that would be interested in
Localized.
I'm iffy on it just because the amount of traffic that was going on. It's such a heavily trafficked area that Saturday night, like 5 o'clock at night, you're just stuck in it.
Right.
To drive to and from.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, you're a stuck pig at that point.
It was like bumper to bumper, really intense traffic leaving that place.
Sounds like getting out of a football game.
Yeah. Now it was the Meadowlands, but it wasn't Giant Stadium.
Okay.
It wasn't near Giant Stadium. It was the Meadowlands Expo Center.
I've been there once.
Yeah. And it's a cool area, by the way. Like the area itself, they really built it up as a whole. There's a hotel there. Definitely sort of like a commercial industrial park feel to it, like a little mini village or something that you could walk around and you can go shopping and you could go get drinks and food at other places if you wanted to. So let's say you didn't like any of the food at the thing, you could easily go to another place within a 5-minute walk and leave and get something to eat. So the location in terms of proximity to New York, highways, and what was available around it was fantastic. The only thing that was a pain was the traffic, which they had no control over.
No, it's not their fault.
They picked a good spot. It's just
Well, if you had one complaint and the complaint was traffic, that's not a bad It's not a bad show.
No.
All right.
No. The only thing that I'd say that would have been better, but I don't know if they can do this in Jersey, is if there was more public transportation to the spot, which I don't know if they could do or if there's even around.
That's
like the upshot of Manhattan Con. No matter where it is, you can just take a train in.
Yes, but even still, we'll go to New York Comic Con. Good God, just the traffic getting there.
I know.
Public transportation. Holy crap.
Exactly. So, that's beyond their control, and I'm not saying that's anything having to do with them. Overall, really great first attempt at a convention. If they even just match that next year,
They're good.
They'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah.
So, that's our time for our break. So then we're going to take our break very quickly, and we'll be right back. Game Fun Radio.
Me Grimlock having fun on It Came From the Radio.
I changed this break. What?
Hi, you've heard my voice open and close the show.
I'm just annoyed.
Now we want to
I
hear
actually
your
changed.
voice. If you have a business or product, you can record a
So
commercial here.
I actually
We offer
like
30 and
what
60
if
second
sounds like,
spots.
even though I'm
For
not a
more
fan of the show, it sounds like I would have had a good time. Anyway, and my friend
The only thing is you wouldn't know who anyone was.
right. But my friend Brian Kong was there. He was in the artist alley. That was like a separate artist alley type thing. Like,
Not really.
So did you actually see him, or was he just lost in the shuffle? All right. Because
As an artist,
you're looking for
there'd be no reason for me to do this convention.
right. Well, unless you drew Soprano stuff. Because I know
That'd be
Brian did shout to Brian. He did a couple of Soprano specific things. And I know he also was trying to sell some of his sports stuff. And you figured sports stuff is,
Yeah,
kind
no,
of-
that was fine. And there were some people that are doing that. But in terms of like,
But there wasn't like a comic book guy with a...
no.
Wasn't a DVD guy selling Sopranos DVDs.
Someone was selling some videos and DVDs and stuff, but it like had nothing to do with The Sopranos.
Right.
It was just like, hey, I can buy a booth.
All right. But it wasn't like was it AT&T or something?
No, yeah, there's no Geico, there's no AT&T, there was no like you see that at EternalCon, like these random vendors that have nothing to do with the convention whatsoever. They can just buy a slot. Nothing like that.
Like
so they kind of made sure it was
Sopranos. Right. I mean, the closest that you'd have to that would be like the guys that were doing live tattooing, which is like, all right, well, they're probably local tattoo shops, so I don't mind it.
Right. And it is, you think you can't associate tattoos with New Jersey and
right. So if anything,
it's in the realm.
And the other thing would be like the cigar place, which was really good. Don't get me wrong, they were very nice people.
They smoke cigars on Sopranos.
But they smoked the cigars on Sopranos. But it's like it was a local. It was like this guy.
Yeah, you're supposed to get rid of that.
I know, and I did on the new ad break, but I don't know why this one's here.
So, like
we don't have.
It was a Newark cigar shop.
Right.
Right. So like even though it isn't directly related to The Sopranos,
right.
Ancillary, it's related to The Sopranos.
So can you say it was kind of like a Jersey Shore con?
No.
Except Sopranos?
No, I wouldn't say it was a Jersey Shore con because...
Have a great day. Michael McManus.
Yeah.
I think we're coming back.
Even though I'm sure that if you did a Jersey Shore con, it'd be the same people showing up.
And welcome back again to the Came From the Radio Show. The Big Apple County's host, Mark Torres, speaking along with our very own Pronto Comics Dominic Definition Man Toronto.
Hey.
And our very own, GHR's very own, Zambo the Engineer.
Hey.
So as we were mentioning before, the three...
Funny how? Like a
three
clown?
out of the 5
Why amuse you?
different events that had happened 2 weeks ago were longer if you're listening to us on the air.
No one even knows when this is going to air.
I'm telling you, it's probably going to be next year. The way I figure it, I think it's
in the new year. Don't say next
first.
year.
Yes.
People are waiting to hear these things. They don't want to be like, I got to turn in December 2020.
But they can go to the Facebook Live and they can see us talking about it behind the scenes.
Why anyone just doesn't watch the Facebook Live all the time, I don't know.
I don't know why either.
I mean, it
we
happens.
give away prizes on the show.
It's the better one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
You get to stay up to date with what we're talking about.
And you get to see all the nonsense
Yeah.
that we do when it
Before,
comes to
during, and
doing
after.
a show.
Whole lot of nonsense.
Sometimes
Whole
you
lot
never
of it.
know what's actually happening. It's like, well, now I know. And we're not. I always do it to the IMIS. When every once in a while you flip the channels and you see
Right.
IMIS, the behind the scenes of that. And every time he heads to a commercial, yeah. But every time he hits a commercial, he goes like this. He goes, it's like he just dies. I'm like, that's the behind the scenes.
We're gonna do a Don Imus impression.
So it's better than that. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Not as
Oh,
good
yeah.
as the Howard Stern, I would say, but it's
No one's Howard. Listen,
Howard Stern is a league of his own. Like, there's radio,
Yeah, then
there's
Howard Stern.
podcasting, then there's Stern.
I
They're
almost
Stern.
voted for him. I was that close.
If I was of age, I would have voted for Stern.
yeah.
But then he dropped out. I was like, I'm gonna vote.
Because look, he was smart enough to realize it. I listen to Howard
Right.
Stern every day. You know who he has on today, or he had on today?
Who?
Hillary Clinton.
Really?
Yeah, in stereo.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, he finally had Hillary Clinton on.
Huh.
And I only heard a portion of the interview.
Yeah.
And I know after the election, after she lost, he had gone on about saying, like, if she had only, he had reached out. He said, if she only came on my show,
She would have.
not saying that she would have won, but like it
Had a
would have
good
allowed, it would have good in-depth interview, and it would have allowed probably people
To humanize her?
to humanize her a little bit. And all I'm doing is,
Dinosaurs,
as I'm driving, like, Stern's definitely mellowed in his older age.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like,
Because he owns the place that he streams off of, so he can do whatever he wants now. So he's like, I'm just going to be mellow.
yeah, so he's really mellow. It's like, he's not asking her the hard questions.
Nah.
Right.
But no one wants to ask her the really hard questions because suddenly you'll be dead after a robbery with, like,
Allegedly.
with a double
Allegedly,
tap in the
you'll-
back of your head.
Allegedly you would commit suicide with 3 bullets to the chest.
Right.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically.
he stabbed himself.
You'll hang yourself, allegedly.
He
He
stabbed
stabbed himself 12 times.
Yeah, exactly right.
I guess we're just going to have to rule this as suicide, but no, it's a suicide.
Look, I'm telling you, I don't care who you are as an interviewer. You get Hillary Clinton on, you're not looking at it like, so there's a long trail of dead bodies following you.
And
Let's
and
talk
she'll
about
say,
that.
and there will be some more after
Yeah.
this.
Right.
So
I saw a great meme of like Joe Biden like laughing with Obama giving him a sly look, and he's like laughing about Hillary Clinton, and Obama underneath it says, Joe, you know she kills people, right?
She knows she kills people, right?
So moving back to the
By the way, if you don't
Other
hear
stuff.
from me,
We know why.
we know you know what happened.
we used to have a great co-host named Dominic. He was a nice
Yeah.
guy. But
I miss
No,
Dominic.
that-
I'm still
he's
here.
gone.
Sometimes I can hear his
Something
voice.
happened. He got pulled over in traffic, and
It just ended
oh
up
well.
gone.
So-
Yeah, he disappeared.
He resisted arrest.
So
we don't know how that happened.
You mentioned having a convention in different places.
Yeah.
So I want to go right to one of the other events that happened this week, the weekend that we're talking about, which is the Huracan.
The weekend of the 23rd and the 24th of November.
Yes. So it was a convention in a church gymnasium.
Right.
So it looked like a church gymnasium.
Okay.
Right.
But
I hope so.
well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't on that
so.
type of scale as the Sopranos Con. It
Fair enough.
sounds like.
Right.
But it was a little get together. Had some tables.
That's nice.
Had a good vibe. Once again, it was great to have David Donovan was here talking about it. It was a good
Right.
cause. They raised some money
Great.
for the church. I took lots of pictures, put them on our Facebook page. There was tons of prizes that they gave away, which was crazy. How much incredible stuff they had for the raffle, which was only $5.
$5.
And
Is that $6 too much for you?
that is $6 too much for me.
By the way, Hassan Goodwin's like, get politics out if my radio show. Hassan can't write today.
Hello, Hassan.
Hassan, we understand.
Just so you see, like
Don't
I'm
worry.
I'm
Get
reading it as it's
politics
written.
out of my radio show.
I think that's what he meant, but he says out if my radio show.
I know he's trying.
First of all, it's not his anymore.
Used to be. But actually, it's his baby. It's always gonna be part Hassan and me. It's he's my Ed Norton. I'm Ralph Cramden because he's the sidekick. Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
So it was
I was busy
a
checking something.
so it's a nice little
You
event.
just called Hassan your sidekick.
Yeah, he's my I don't want to call him my partner. That's a whole different wingman.
Wingman.
I like that one.
He was a wingman at one
There
point.
you
Yeah.
go. He's a wingman.
He was an essential part of this.
It wasn't my
of
goose,
this
but
show.
damn it, he was close.
Shout out to Hassan God. So
Oh God, does that make me Merlin?
so we have
Oh,
Let's pick Iceman.
That's
That's better.
yeah, okay.
Iceman's cooler.
so we have it was to raise money for the church.
He's writing don't write while walking. That's as bad as texting while driving.
So it was for a good cause, and he raised some money. And like I said, the best part about the Huracan.
And by I mean the show I watch. Thank you for watching.
Aw.
Aw,
We appreciate
is
you.
it this one?
Dun,
It's not this
dun,
one. It's this one.
dun. Oh,
Ah!
middle button, top, and then one on the right. Now do it. Oh, there we go.
So
It touches the coggles of my heart.
Aw,
Possibly even my colon. We don't know.
he had
it tickles definitely.
they had kitchen stuff going on with the walking taco. They had tons of food there, which is
There's
awesome.
a walking taco?
Yeah, if you remember, they made walking tacos. David, when he
Yes,
was here,
yes.
so they had it at the convention.
Heart attack in a bag.
Hell yeah.
What was my
And if not a heart attack, certainly agita.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the best takeaway from the Huracan, and they're already going to have it next year. And from last year to this year, I felt that it was more crowded. It
That's
was
good.
more stuff going on,
Mhm.
and they had way many more prizes to give away. That was I felt was the biggest draw of the convention that they had. They had donations from tons of artists, like big names, little names, to give out for all people.
No names.
To have no names. I gave them something to give away, so I'm the no name. So
Hey, you.
it's going to
are-
be for next year.
You are in periodicals of note, my friend.
Twice.
Twice.
Right.
Within-
so,
right.
You are no
You're a
longer
member of
within
public
30,
record.
Within 30 days. This is twice in the Queen's Gazette. Shout out to Queen's
That's
Gazette.
You are not a nobody.
So I gave him a print and a trading card, and he's going to give that away for next year's 2020. So Hurricane 2020.
Awesome.
Nice.
But the prizes, like they had the grand prize that they
You
had
just
to
called
give
it
away.
Hurricane 2020. Don't do that.
Huracan.
Huracan.
Yes, Huracan 2020.
This is the story of the hurricane.
They had
It had to be done.
limited edition Universal Monster busts.
But
Busts. And there were 3 of them. So it was like the Wolfman and Dracula. And that was like a $250 value.
Wow.
For a $5 raffle.
$5?
$5.
$5.
So I took a lot of pictures of all the winners. That way you can see all the different prizes that they had. It was a very happy event. Everybody it was like I said, busier than last year. Everybody was having a grand old time there. Once again, a positive thing for a good cause. And what I always find out about David's event, the Huracans, the 2 of them I've been to, is that for an event organizer, this man is not stressed out in any way, shape, or form. He's just having a grand old time, enjoying himself as it goes. Looking at a Facebook page, go further down, keep on going, because I put them all up. It's all down. Keep on going. You'll see like a blue background.
Hey, there's Lou. Hey, Shadow Rabbit.
So I thought it was a grand old time I had there, and I'm glad I went. And
a grand old time.
A grand old time. You know, and once again, keep on going. And once again, there's right there. Those are them. So I think the bus is in there somewhere.
Just for the fact that he's got smiles on his face.
Yeah, like,
wow, that's impressive.
Like he was really happy, and it's odd to me because we go to many conventions, and the event organizer, in rare occasions, it's usually
unless somehow medicated,
stressed out. They're like, oh my god,
yeah, it's stressful running one of these.
But David was very happy. He had a grand old time. People were winning stuff left and right. And it was a nice little. It was a small convention, like it's a church gymnasium, like
it's
like
it's not going to be that big,
right? How big do you expect it to be,
right?
But for what it was, they had some artists, they had some authors, and they had tons of. They had the food.
Gotta love the
free
food.
Parking.
Yep, food.
If you want a little tiny event for a good cause, that's where you should go. I really enjoyed myself, and as it always is. Like as I mentioned when he was here, the first time I thought I was going to be in and out, real quick,
right?
Because I figured it's going to be a little area, a little church gymnasium. How much time could I possibly spend there? But once again, I went in and I stayed for almost a good couple hours because you meet a lot of interesting people there. I talked to our friend Jay Lipson. He was a guest on the show. He was there. They actually had a couple of cosplayers, but they had tons of little kid cosplayers, which was kind of cute.
Aw. Gotta love little kids.
But and it was a very positive experience. It's very rare you go to a convention, a comic book convention, because we've done so many, and you still you feel good.
Yeah.
So I went in there, I had a grand old time. Just seeing the interactions, just talking to people. It was a great time. I give it 2 thumbs up, and it was better than last year.
Would you give it a 3rd thumbs up if you had a 3rd hand?
Ooh, maybe next year.
Okay.
Maybe next year, because
always the room for improvement.
Actually, I met David's wife, and we were joking about it.
You know what would make that con better?
What?
A recreation of the Bada Bing.
Oh yeah, with the dancers.
With the dancers, yeah.
In a church? I don't know.
I stand by my statement with the dancers.
I don't know.
Don't forget, Jesus hung out with prostitutes. I'm just saying.
We're just sticking true to the history.
Man,
that's right.
No religion, no politics. It's just out of the window for the show. So moving
views and thoughts and opinions.
Moving on. I also want to talk about the WinterCon, which I attended,
which is a casino.
Which is at a casino.
Which, you know what would make that better?
A Bada Bing.
A recreation of the Bada Bing.
Hey.
Now that would be
That would be a great place for a Sopranos con.
That actually really, really would.
Well, maybe when they do the mobster movie convention, because they're going to do it at Atlantic City. So
right.
Maybe they want to move it, the next Sopranos con over there.
I hope not, because
from where it was perfect.
It's perfect. It's easy to get to.
From the tri-state, for the tri-state.
Right. The tri-state area. I mean, it's Jersey. I live on Long Island. It's a pain.
Right.
But if you move it to Atlantic City,
you ain't going.
That's beyond a pain.
All right.
That's a broken leg.
Yep.
From Nunzio.
So, WinterCon, it had the Farscape reunion. Yes, the Farscape reunion.
Yes.
And they had the creator of Farscape there also. Yes. So I was like,
that's
had
good.
The whole. You have the cast and the creator. That's actually a really good a panel to have. We had Karen Ashley.
Hassan says we just lost the Christian fundamentalist portion of our audience.
Oh,
none of
them. So we had.
I can hear the people in Alabama turning off now.
So WinterCon was once again a grand old time I had, because you look at it.
I don't know if they should put Rutger Hauer up.
You have a.
I forgot he's still around.
No, he's not.
He's not.
He's quite not around.
He's dead as like what, a year ago, 2 years ago.
He's on the list.
That's right.
But yeah. So
please don't tell me they had him like appearing at WinterCon.
No, they had on the website. It's like guests in general, and his picture's still on.
Right.
There.
He did die this year. Okay. Yeah, I'm just like, wait, when did he die? I totally forget when he died.
So WinterCon had Karen Ashley, Power Ranger. You had, if you were a fan of the Never-Ending Story. You had the 2 leads from the original movie. You had, was it Atreyu and the Childlike Princess? I think his name was Atreyu. But they were there. So they had the celebrities. You had tons of events going on.
Ooh,
on
you had Dirk
tons of panel.
Benedict.
Yes, Dirk Benedict, very, very nice man. His son also a very nice guy.
Not to be confused with
the original
Burke Benedict.
Yes.
That's
The original Starbuck.
What I thought.
Do you know Dirk Benedict more from Battlestar Galactica or A-Team?
Me?
Is he Starbuck or is he Face?
For me personally, he was Starbuck.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm older than you. How the hell is that possible?
Very strange. I always spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house. So a lot of reruns, a lot of VHSs lying around.
Who doesn't like A-Team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, he's the Face. He's
yeah.
Face.
No, by no means. I've seen both shows, and
he's not the original Face.
Yeah.
They had another guy in the pilot, and they got him instead.
Must have been a better agreement.
I forgot. How old was he when he was playing Starbuck? I think he was like 19. That's why he still looks pretty good.
Wow. Yeah.
He
looks.
Mm-hmm.
He's aged well then. Good for him.
So WinterCon was in the casino. It was they made better use of the space, I felt, this year than they've done in previous years. One of the things that I find that they did in the first year, I think this is the fourth, maybe fifth one of the WinterCons.
I don't know. It's gone back a while.
But I know at the first year.
I knew I had Pronto guys that went to it. We didn't do it as a company, but we had guys that went to it, and they were going, they were raving about it the first year. They thought it was the greatest.
Because it wasn't as well as intended as that first year. Because that first year was crazy.
That first year was magical.
But then I know the casino actually cut the floor in half, so it actually changed stuff around for the future years.
Mm-hmm.
And so this year, I think they kind of got the flow of how they use the area in the WinterCon.
Okay.
And
this is
they
the
actually,
most Hassan has ever interacted.
And they actually, one thing I got to give them credit for is that this time they had the food upstairs, so that way people didn't have to go all the way downstairs. There was food right on the casino floor.
Well, that makes you feel
on
better.
On the show floor, I should say, not casino floor, show floor. And Frank has always been nice to us, so shout out to Frank. That's why I got to do the article to Queen's Gazette. We talked about the WinterCon. We had tons of friends there because, like I said, we know plenty of people at the conventions go. So it was tons of our friends were there.
Could you name some of them?
Sure. Brendan Shaw from the Fat Guy Inc. was there.
Yeah, he's watching now.
Shadow Guy Lou. He was there. He actually spent a lot of time just hanging out and chatting with him. My friend Russ Braun was there. And Carl Paulino was there. You don't know who that is. But he...
How do you know I don't know who that is?
Because...
I mean, I don't, but how do you know?
I've never mentioned him before.
Okay, fair enough.
So to bring things back, all this whole stuff started was when Hassan and I, speaking of Hassan and I, went to the New York Academy of Comic Book Art and Fantasy Illustration. It was a comic book school in Manhattan. That's where Hassan and I had met. And Carl was the guy in charge of that school.
Ooh.
And Russ Braun, who is the penciler of the boys right now, well, actually, I think the boys finished, but he was penciling for that.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the teachers there.
Aha.
So it was kind of cool having both of them back in the same building after 20, almost 30 years.
I mean, it's like getting the Beatles back together.
So it was kind of nice. But unfortunately, they were on opposite sides of the convention floor, so I didn't get to actually see them together. But it was still nice. Still nice.
That's cool.
What else can I say about the WinterCon that we really haven't covered before? I mean,
Did you win big at all?
No, I actually lost $10.
Yikes!
I had saved that $10. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be there.
They don't teach you not to gamble, buddy.
You always pocket what you put in, and then you play with the play. Then you play with what you win.
Yes. But if you don't put the $10 in, you don't win anything. You can't.
No, then you're kind of screwed. Yeah, fair enough.
It was a.
Which would you rather, Resorts or because it's Resorts Casino, right?
Resorts Casino
or Jake's 58.
Jake's 58.
I've never been to Jake's, so I wouldn't be able to tell.
I don't know.
There was a convention at Jake's 58. The Imbion Con used to be there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember because I was talking to Eric Hutchinson, and who's running the Imbion Con. Imbion, I think it's Imbion.com, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I finally found a place to have my convention every year." And I go, this place is gonna turn into a casino next year. He goes, "Really?" So it was kind of funny.
Man.
He was all happy. Because they had, I think it was the second year that they had done it at that location, and he was really starting to get into it. He was, and then like, nope, no more convention for you. And so now he's in Hofstra University for that.
Does anyone win at Jake's 50? Why? No,
I mean, like, Jake's 58, I land won $984,000 jackpot after placing a $10 bet in Wheel of Fortune.
It's crazy how.
Does anyone win at any casino? Like,
I mean, apparently this dude won $984,000.
So it's crazy.
And then he found out all the relatives he has.
It's crazy how there was 4 events going on that weekend.
Right.
And
no one wanted to have it the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Right.
Because everyone's shopping.
Right.
But you would think, maybe that's the best time to have a convention. So
you know,
people can come and shop.
It's funny. Frank Casuto and his brother Chris, who's been on our show.
Right.
I always say that he's the hardest working man at a convention because he's always trying to sell.
He really is.
And I
used
to joke to him that there was one guy who was even better than him, and they actually were on the same row at the WinterCon. So it was Arlen Schumer, and he's like, "Man, I put him to shame." I was like, "Well, if you actually saw you two going against each other, so now Chris is the top working that." But he was the one that told me, he's like, I do want to have a convention on Thanksgiving weekend. And call it Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan? Oh my God!
But what would it be?
So I just thought it was funny having it the Genghis Khan.
Okay.
And he's like,
it's funny.
He's like,
it is funny.
He's like,
we're going to build a big wall, and then we knock down the wall.
He's like, some people don't want to go and stay with their
South
family.
Park reference, kids.
We are going to reduce the carbon footprint.
They don't want to. They don't want to go and be with their family. They don't want to go shopping. So you go to a convention instead, and people will spend money there.
Have you met people's families? Some of them are horrible.
So that was his idea, and I'm like, why don't you put it together? Everybody else is doing it.
Something.
So he's been kicking around for a year, so for years. So maybe.
But what's the theme?
Between now and 5 years from now, we'll be covering the Genghis Khan.
The theme is we're going to invade China. I don't know.
Well, you have the cosplayers.
Right.
You can put a wall.
Damn Mongolians, you break down my wall.
You can have a...
It's just a giant game of Red Rover.
Can you imagine that? The cosplayers just fighting? It'd be like a reenactment. You can have a reenactment at the convention.
You're only allowed to cosplay if you're cosplaying as a Mongolian.
And
only.
As
only Mongolians, yeah.
And as WinterCon does...
Is it Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan?
I would say Genghis.
It's Genghis.
Or, as
I think
like
it's pronounced
to say,
Genghis.
As I like to say, Bob Genghis Khan.
Bob Genghis.
What about Kublai Khan?
That was from
Kublai Khan.
No, that was from Bill
the
and
grandson
Ted.
of Genghis Khan.
So, speaking of cosplayers, they had a giant cosplay area in WinterCon.
I'm going to bet it was easy to tell who was cosplaying at your convention than it was mine.
It was extremely easy to tell. There was tons of cosplayers there, but it's always got to give a shout out to Adana Velez. She's the cosplay guru. She has her own cosplay group. She has her own charity, as she has mentioned many times on our show, who deals with disabled people. And she picks like one person who's disabled, and she gives them the convention experience. So there's actually a picture of him at on our Facebook page. And he was in a wheelchair and everything, but he was tired out by how much fun he had, so he fell asleep on the thing. And we have a picture of 2 hot girls around him. But he was just out like a light. So I'm like, when he wakes up, he's gonna be like, "Oh man!"
Really mad that he missed it. I like one of those pictures too, where it's like this one dude met, but he was passed out like in a restaurant, but he missing Bill Murray, meeting Bill Murray and Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters in the same night. So they both sat next to him
and took a picture with him?
took pictures with him, and then ate his meal and then walked away.
I've seen the picture of that with Tom Hanks.
Yes,
where he's like
I love that.
So I got to give them credit for they always bring out the cosplayers at the convention. And I really like the fact that in this situation, the cosplayers weren't just like thrown to the side. At some conventions that happens, that you have like the show, you have the celebrities, and then like in the back corner somewhere beyond anybody is where the cosplayers are, because nobody cares about
herd them up like cattle.
But at least in here they were like right at the main entrance, which might be because Adana is such a cosplay friendly person.
Okay.
So they were a very cosplay friendly convention. So I want to give them credit for that. If you love that stuff, some of that is really great.
I gotta tell you, I
expressions of artwork.
I think of cosplayers the same way as like Cartman in South Park thought of hippies.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe they'll bring some money. No, they don't have any money. The cosplayers.
But I do say that they do have some of them. Costumes are amazing.
That's why they don't have any money.
because they spend it
all
all
on the costume.
But
Yeah.
I do want to say that it is, it is art. We do celebrate art. It is an expression of the art. So good job
Did
for
you
that.
actually pull up a search of Genghis Khan?
No, of the con, and I hate to break your friend's heart, but there's quite a few cons.
The
Oh,
con
Genghis
of all
Khan.
gaming conventions.
So it's a tabletop gaming
There
convention.
is a Genghis Khan.
Okay.
There's
Aw.
Genghis Khan Cleveland. There's Genghis Khan 2020
Oh, so sorry. Yeah.
in Denver.
Sorry,
well, at least
Chris.
you know what it'd be about.
Yeah.
Gaming.
Well,
That's something.
there we go. It could be about conquering tabletop games.
Sorry.
There you go.
Like tabletop games that are
Everyone
based
can
off
play a little
conquering
Whisk.
other Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
It's
But hey,
still
Chris,
funny. Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't mean he can't deal with maybe a few of these people and get it over here on the East Coast
But-
instead of the Midwest.
Is there a Kubla Khan?
East Coast Genghis Khan. Huh. So that was my experience with the WinterCon. I felt
No.
if I had anything bad to say about the WinterCon, I can say
Oh my God, there is.
the con of cons.
Cons.
There we go, the con of cons Memorial Day weekend.
There is a
2020.
Kubla Khan.
Wait, it's the 20th anniversary. That's been going on for a while.
This is not even original anymore.
We're looking it up online, by the way. for
California.
people who are listening to us on the air and not
So
seeing it
Kubla
on,
Khan
on
and
Facebook
Genghis Khan
Live.
are both taken. Quick, what was Genghis Khan's third cousin?
Yeah, right.
So
That is amazing.
if I, like I said,
It's
if I-
also horrifying.
Oh, I almost forgot to mention the one of the performances was Ronaldo
There we go.
and
Got 'em.
Lou. So I took a couple of pictures of them on the Facebook page, and what the girl did was quite amazing. She balanced a chair
All right.
on her chin, and then she went and balanced a table on her chin.
That's
That's
pretty
I
cool.
hope
pretty
she's got
impressive.
really good insurance.
So
That's
that
really
was
cool.
really impressive. I took pictures of her because she went on. It was a comedy stylings. I would say it was kind of like Harpo Marx type of deal.
She didn't speak at all.
So the guy didn't speak at all. He had a couple of little quirps to say, like he said "mama" or "see," kind of.
That's more talking than Harpo ever did.
did. But it's that type of comedy. And he did, he flipped around. He did some hula hoops. He did, he was throwing rings. He was spinning plates on his head, and he did like a bit. So he was doing a, I don't know what they call those things when you have two sticks and you hit the third stick and you
I know what you're talking about. Like
yeah,
flipping around
yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
So he kept on hurting, in air quotes, he kept on hurting himself. So he hurt his finger. He's like, ah! And then he pointed out somebody else, Mama, kiss, And so, she just, oh, it's better, yay! And then he hurt his elbow. And then he hurt his
you
butt.
really have him insured past the age of 10, have you?
And then he hurt
It's
his
pretty
butt.
fun. It's pretty fun.
And she was like, no. But it was funny.
Oh dear God!
But the his
I'd rather
partner,
be reading about the,
his
the
partner,
Mongols
Lou,
over here.
she was like, oh, I'm gonna, she's gonna do something. So she balanced a feather on her chin, which was like, nobody was like, it's a feather. And then she graduated to a
You try
table.
and balance a feather on your
It
chin.
was impressive, but it's a feather. And then she went to the chair, and then she went to the table, and I was like, holy crap, that was awesome.
Hassan is good at Wrath of Khan.
Ooh, the Wrath of Khan.
The Wrath of
There you
Khan.
go. So
I
yeah,
bet you
so
CBS would be all over that though.
Oh.
Immediately C&D.
That'd be a
Actually,
great Star Trek convention. Wrath
Hang
of Khan.
on, hang on.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Wait. Yep.
There is.
Dad's Garage Theater presents The Wrath of Khan. Oh wait,
That's not
it's
a
a
con.
scripted economy. Oh, it's a scripted comedy series.
Yeah,
okay.
all right.
Okay.
So then maybe.
So
oh yeah, it was a TV. It was a TV. It was
Maybe
an
there's
episode of
no
Veronica
actual
Mars. All right. Okay. Okay.
Wrath of Khan 2 Into Dorkness
so
event in Atlanta, Georgia.
so yeah. So
All right, it's a
that
doable thing.
they had all that stuff there. Did you attend any panels at the SpermaCon, by the way, or do you remember what the
I
panels were?
watched them have an interview with Vincent Pastore, who played, well, because it's in context, I think we can say this, and if not, we'll have to believe Big Pussy.
Oh yeah, I don't think we remember that.
I don't know, but I'm just saying it's in context.
Ah,
It's
right.
not right. It's just this
Well, I mean,
gentleman here.
that's his nickname on the show.
Yeah.
He's Salvatore BP Bonpiciero.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
like I'm going to remember how to.
I'll find that out.
I mean, I'm
He's
not gonna
known. He's known as his nickname on the show.
Yeah, I
Right,
get
right.
you,
So I
get
did
you.
catch them. He was being interviewed at Sopranos Con, and he was just talking about like his time on the show and
Right.
everything like that. It was mostly, from what I could see, interviews with cast members.
Gotcha. All right, so we're almost out of time.
All right.
But
So,
they did have a cannoli eating contest, which I'm afraid I missed.
Aw.
Wonder
Yeah.
how that
So
one won.
final thoughts here. So I know we're going to be talking about more of the Eli Who stuff when Charlie comes back.
Yes.
That's the best time to do
Shout out to Charlie and his family. Hope it all works out fine. So Zambo, do you have final thought?
The other siblings of Genghis Khan, other than Kublai Khan, are available for Khan names. Grab them while you can.
Kublai Khan was the grandson. He wasn't
Yes,
a sibling.
True, but still, in terms of lineage, his actual sons and daughters, completely unclaimed. Just saying.
Fair enough.
Just saying.
Dominic, final thought.
I got to get in this convention business. Apparently, that's where the money is.
ProntoCon 2021.
We've been joking. We've been saying we want to do a ProntoCon.
We were close.
But you know how hard it is to try and put this together?
Close.
We were close.
I believe
Close,
it.
but stuff happens. My final thought is this. So good job having all those different conventions. Thank you for everybody for covering it. I want to do another shout out to David Donovan for the HurriCon, Frank Patz for the WinterCon, Ken Deep for the Eli Who convention, and of course Bernadette Giamazio, maybe? What's her last name? I know it's Bernadette.
I don't have it in front of me. What?
Bernadette G. Thank you.
Bernadette.
Just call her Bernadette.
Bernadette.
You know what?
Shout
Here's my
out.
final thought. I'd like to see one con on a weekend.
Just one.
Just
one.
A convention.
Not gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
So that about does it for this week on It Came From the Radio. Join us right here every week on this radio show. If you miss any part of this show,
Tough.
go to our website, www.itcamefromtheradio.com. Listen to archives will be up in a week or so. Or check us out on such places as Overcast, Pocket Cast, iHeartRadio, Google Play, iTunes, Breaker or Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Spotify, Podbean, Player FM, Soundcast, Acast, Castbox, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podmus, Blueberry, Mixcloud, Luminary, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Castro, Pandora. You can get the Alexa skill, or we've ascertained this. You can ask.
What this?
This is now a certainty.
Okay.
Certainty.
You can ask Siri to play It Came From the Radio, and she will play it.
Well then.
So
there we go.
There's no point in
See
even
you.
Googling It Came From the Radio now.
Just ask Siri.
But if you still have usable appendages like fingers, go ahead and still Google it.
Yes.
See you next week.
You've been listening to It Came From the Radio with
So
Mark
yeah, so
Torres.
I want to give a shout out
The
to
views of the
Assam Godwin
show's
for
hosts and
verifying that
guests
Siri
do
will
not necessarily
play It
reflect
Came From
the
Radio
opinions
if you
of
ask
management,
her, which is
owners,
awesome.
or staff
That's
of
pretty
this
cool.
So I
station.
think it has to do with the
Now,
Is
Alexa
there
skill
anything
set.
we're not on?
Scheduled
You might be better
broadcast.
off saying like we're just
Well,
not
if
on
you're
this.
podcast, it'll automatically add to Siri. So then there you go.
Geez, I don't know. Well, I guess we're not on network television.
We're not on network television. No. You should be
Yeah.
able to
We're
rehear
not
this
on
on Twitch
Netflix.
too. Yeah, we're not on Netflix.
If you go to your TV remote with the microphones and go, play It Came From the Radio, boom.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility.
Actually, we could theoretically be on TV because you can watch
The smart-
Facebook Live on
If
TV.
it's-
The
some smart TVs
TVs.
have Facebook Live.
Yeah.
And the
capability.
government's listening to us, so we're on the government's website.
Exactly.
So if I die in a motor vehicle accident
We
of some
know
kind,
what
or, like
you know why.
we don't look to the Clintons.
Man.
Yeah.
Look into the Clintons. Look into the Clintons.
Yeah.
So that was another behind-the-scenes recording of our show. It went all right.
I think it was
a
fun.
little
It was a
off
good
the
show.
rails, but then when doesn't it go off the
Actually,
rails?
that was not really that off the rails.
That was rather tame.
Right, but
We
Other
kind
than-
of stuck to what we wanted to
Other
talk
than the
about.
nickname,
yes,
it was pretty tame.
we did wound up into the politics and the religion territory.
You're welcome.
But we didn't go far.
I
would
tried.
say
No.
I tried to stay away from that, but
We
it
all
was
do.
all right
We all
because
do.
we had time.
What do you think about Bloomberg's chances this
I think you should
So-
sell this news station before
As-
he runs. Boo, boo, boo.
As a reminder, next week we're going to have our live show at the Somalia,
Somalia?
Somalia Mall,
the Somalia Mall?
Source Mall.
The Genghis Khan.
The Genghis Khan Mall.
We're giving
Genghis,
away,
man. Genghis.
Genghis.
the print
The Jenga
from
Con.
Day One Comic, 2
Jenga
tickets
Con.
to the Big Apple Con, the Star Wars print. For anybody in attendance, you get to be a little raffle. That's going to be at 7 p.m., 6:30 start seating there. Enter through the parking garage on the second floor. Make sure that's the best way to go because the place is under construction. You go the wrong way, you'll never find us. It has happened. Our guests had to go through construction last time. It was crazy.
Hey, I don't know.
And also, we're going to announce the winner to the contest next week, which is also 2 tickets to the Big Apple Con. So we're giving away tickets. So if you want tickets to the Big Apple Con, do your due diligence. Comment on the 11:20 show, either on the YouTube or our Facebook page. And while that was kind of weird, you heard that, right?
I did.
Okay, he didn't hear that.
That's okay.
And
Sorry.
yeah, so that's it. Our next live show will be on the 11th at 2 p.m.-ish. And I think we have a guest calling in. I think he's from California.
Why are
he's a-
you
he's a-
asking? I don't
he's a
know
writer.
these things.
Don't you remember when we did the Matthew
California.
Huddle interview? You were like, why do I keep on looking at you? Because the information is right here in your direction. And not looking at you per se. I'm looking at the information that's next to you, floating
Whatever.
above
In his
you.
mind.
So, yeah, so we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.